Right, let's try and be a bit more civil about this matter. James Bond. Quite possibly one of the greatest fictional characters of all time and a true icon of Great Britain. From his debut appearance in the 1953 novel Casino Royale, Ian Fleming's creation has, for over 70 years now, entertained audiences across all 7 continents of the world, whether that be in books or on the big screen. As of 2025, the James Bond film franchise is one of the highest grossing media series of all time, and, when adjusted for inflation, it's even made more money than Spider-Man, though not as much as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is a bit of a shame, but hey-ho, what can you do? Since James Bond first came to the big screen in 1962, the franchise has always been overseen by a company called Eon Productions, which is run by the Broccoli family. The joint venture began when a Canadian producer called Harry Saltzman met with a guy called Albert R. Broccoli, and together they formed the partnership known as Eon, Everything or Nothing. Whilst the venture didn't last forever, with Harry Saltzman pulling out in 1975 due to financial problems, Albert R. Broccoli stayed on as head of the franchise until 1989. After then, his daughter Barbara Broccoli and stepson Michael G. Wilson took over as head producers of further James Bond films. Now, I admit the James Bond series has had a bit of a rocky history from time to time. There have been problems, there have been delays, and some of the films haven't been as successful as others. But on the whole, it's maintained its essence, its sense of, yes, this is a family business, and we don't want to sell out to anybody who might want to change the formula. Not until now, anyway. With Amazon gobbling up Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, the film studio which owns the back catalogue to all 25 James Bond films, and yes, there are 25 films, and if anybody else tells you that there are more, then they are lying and must be taken out around the back and shot. Since Amazon acquired MGM in 2022 for $8.45 billion, it's been very keen to try and get returns on its investment. Admittedly, they haven't had any with James Bond just yet, apart from a spin-off TV show called 007 Road to a Million, but I don't think anyone remembers that. Apparently it's getting a second season, by the way. Don't ask me why. Now, it's no secret that the Broccoli family doesn't really like Amazon that very much. In fact, Barbara Broccoli was quoted as calling Amazon a bunch of idiots, and she's not wrong. Look, I have my own issues with how Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson have handled the character of Bond in his last recent outings, more specifically with Spectre and No Time to Die, but on the whole, I think they've done a good job all these years, and yeah, frankly, this news of them giving up the roles of producers on the James Bond films and letting Amazon take over is, well, there's no other way of putting this, a disaster. James Bond is not a franchise which you can compare easily to that of Marvel or Star Wars, big cinematic universes with various entries and spin-offs and countless TV shows to go alongside all the films they've released. Because James Bond is first and foremost a series which primarily focuses on films and very little else. It's never had a TV series that has really tied into the mainline continuity of the films themselves. It's not something that you can churn out every year or so with very little effort. It's a franchise which needs care and due attention. And frankly, Amazon doesn't strike me as a company that is willing to give James Bond a series which, may I remind you, is one of the most valuable ever made, the real quality and care it deserves. Look, I know I'm biased. Of course I am. I'm a James Bond fan. I love the film series. I love the books. And I'm a very passionate fan at that. But are you seriously trying to tell me that Amazon, a company which only a decade ago wasn't even interested in venturing into the world of film and TV, and didn't really get its streaming service into the spotlight until a certain motoring trio ended up signing a £160 million deal to handle a franchise like James Bond with the same care and attention the Broccolis have? Give me a break. Of course they're not going to do that. They're Americans. They don't understand the Britishness that is James Bond. They're going to Americanize him, probably, make him appeal to a wider audience. Why? Did you not see how well the last few James Bond films have done? Even if they haven't all been great, they're still some of the highest grossing movies MGM has ever made. I don't know. It's just... This reminds me of when George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney. Everyone thought, oh, well, this could be a good thing, you know? I mean, Disney can take care of Star Wars. I mean, it's not like the prequels were exactly George Lucas's finest hour. Maybe Disney will, do better. And look at where that's got us. I think the lesson here is never sell out to major corporations unless you are absolutely certain that it's the right call to make. And I don't know what's been going on between the Broccoli family and Amazon, and I don't know whether they were forced into making this decision or whether they decided it was the right thing to do. I mean, both of them are fast approaching retirement age, and it could be that they just didn't want to continue this fight and also wanted to focus on other things, like they have a few other projects in development, and if that's the case, then that's understandable. But giving Amazon creative control of James Bond is going to do more harm than good. Unless they appoint somebody, and I do mean somebody who has a clear idea of where James Bond can go next, where the series should head, and ensure that it keeps appealing to its core audience, then frankly, we should just throw James Bond as a film series into the dumpster of projects that were originally thought of as viable franchises, but are now considered dead ends in terms of generating value. If you're not sure where that is, check with the front desk. I think Kathleen Kennedy can lead you in the right direction. Failing that, I think Kevin Feige might be available as backup. So yeah. Thank you, Amazon. You have no idea how much I f***ing hate you now. And if you cancel Clarkson's Farm, then I'm cancelling my Prime subscription. Wait, what? My subscription's tied to my dad's account? Fuck!